Whatsblazing Sports. What's up, everybody? This is your girl Nicole Luke Alexander, and here is Whatsblazing Sports. What's up, everybody? This is your girl Nicole Luke Alexander, and here is Whatsblazing Sports. Whatsblazing Sports. What's up, everybody? This is your girl Nicole Luke Alexander, and here is Whatsblazing Sports. Alexander, and here is Whatsblazing Sports. What's up, everybody? This is your girl Nicole Luke Alexander, and here is Whatsblazing Sports.
Hi, this is America's Pastor inviting you to stay tuned for the world's greatest boxing commentary as he continues on the road to 10,000. Now he's back at it like a crack addict, giving you boxing geekers that work. I want you to put your hands together and give him some love as we welcome the one, the only T-Dub.
Yeah! Yo. Wait a minute. Yeah! Okay, now I'm reloaded. What? Yeah! Alright, guys, what up with it? It's your boy T-Dub Whatsblazing the Sports. Happy Friday, guys. I'm working from home today, so you know I have time to play just a little bit. Shout out to my boy in the chat, the one who made that awesome intro. I think my dog gonna get up. To my boy America's Pastor Travel, what it do? Alright, guys, give me 1 second. Let you guys watch my girl Lola do her story. Give me a second. What? Yeah! What? Yeah! What? Yeah! What? Here we go. Yeah! Let's get it. What? Alright, guys, welcome to the chat. You know who this is. Just your one, the only T-Dub Whatsblazing the Sports. Guys, I'm ready to give you this work. Let's work. One sec. Testing. All right. I think I'm back, right? I'm back. All right. Man, oh man, I'm telling you, man, these wires are tricky, man. I bumped this mic wire. But let's get into it, man. Welcome back, guys. This is Box Weekend. We have Gary Russell Jr., who is fighting tomorrow, guys. And I believe he missed weight today by ½ a pound. And guys, man, most of the time, Gary Russell fought. I didn't have a question that Gary Russell was going to win. This one, man, I think he was talking about an injury beforehand. Now he missed weight. Guys, worried, man. But I think I know he's a better boxer than the guy he's fighting. He's just fighting a guy that has some power, man. Pretty good power. Got Freddie Roach in his corner. Should be an interesting matchup, man. But listen, guys, before we jump into it, as I watch my dog eat, man, I'll tell you right now, man. My old dog, this last 6 months, oh my gosh, I just never seen, he's been going through it, right? He's 18 and a half years old. He got his toe stuck under something and it, man, ripped his nail. Now, godless, man, he is having some issues. But before we get into it, I've been seeing this question on Facebook a lot, and I want to ask you guys, what would you do, right? So the question I've been seeing that if you had a choice, right, red pill or blue pill, if you take this blue pill, you get $10 million right now. But if you take this red pill, you go back to when you were 6 years old, but you get all the knowledge you have now. You take that back when you were 6. So the question is, would you take the 10 million flat now? Or would you take all the knowledge you know now and go back to when you were 6 years old, pretty much start over? What would you do? What would you do? I'm going to give you my answer. Which I don't know if I got an answer yet, but I'm going to give you my answer. So, you know what? I'm not going to say nothing about this yet. So, I hope for some of you guys who chose to go back when you were 6, I hope that you asked the missus and the kids to leave the room for a minute. Because if you go back to when you were 6, listen, we know how females take this, right? If you choose to go back to when you were 6 and retain all the knowledge you know now, so what you mean? You mean that you want to go back? You don't want what we have right now? You don't want your kids? You don't want your kids? You know what, man? Listen, I hope some of you guys in front of her, even if you didn't want to, you said, yeah, I'll take the $10 million right now. Yeah, But I'm telling you, man, if this was American Pie Charles, I take the $10 million right now. If this was a real thing, do you realize how many men that would go back to never 6? You talking about when Thanos snapped his fingers and made half the population disappear? Man, if people go back to when they were 6, all these oops babies, and let's say failed marriages and just the whole drama with, man, it'd be over half family would just disappear. But let me give you my thoughts on it, right? So I picked, give me $10 million now, right? I thought about going back to when I was 6, but give me the $10 million right now. Because if, my thing is, if I go back to when I was 6 years old, I got a 6-year-old playful mindset. So even though I go back there with it, how much of it would I retain, right? How much would I retain until I get to adulthood, to be able to make moves on my own to do it? But I do get it, because we all do remember things back then. But you know what? For some people, even if you retain the things you know now, some people would make those same mistakes. Because when they get 13, like, you know what? I got time, man. What about this shit? I still got time. I'm young. They get to a teenager. I still got time. And next thing you know, they went down the same path twice. Just had to start over and live through it all again. But for some people, it could be successful. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you made mistakes, maybe if you'd have just stuck with football, just stuck with basketball, right? Whatever, maybe you would have invested in, stock. But see, and then another thing is, are they saying go back to when you were 6 years old when you were actually 6, or start over right now at 6 years old, go forward? Because if you go back in time, you will be billionaires. If you smart, Google. Oh, there he is. I know it. Give me one second, guys. My old man, he just ain't what he used to be. Just ain't what he used to be. Give me one second. Great old dude, he ain't what he used to be. You know what, man? What? You know what, guys? As I look at my very, very old dog, I mean, 18 and a half years old, and I had him since he was 4 weeks. Definitely, you know, not at his, his best, but when I look at him and when I look at myself, and I think about it was an episode of Sanford and Son when I think Sanford and his friends was supposed to have some ladies come over, and I could remember wrong, but I think Lamont Peterson, not Peterson, what's his name, Lamont Sanford, I think he got them partying early, and they got to dancing and got drunk, and then by the time the ladies got there, they was all passed out, and Lamont was walking around saying, "Those gray old dudes, they ain't what they used to be. Nope, not what they used to be. Ain't what they used to be." And listen, man, I think about myself in many ways that I am definitely not what I used to be when I used to be it. But and I look at my dog and how, man, he came so, so far, and he's really having some issues right now. One, he's old, and his stability because he hurt his foot. So anytime he trips, he falls a lot. He's like, "Come get me up so I can get back on my force." All right, so let me get through this, guys. All right, so we went through that. Now, let's get it, guys. We're going to start off this thing talking about Devin Haney. I think this is probably one of the first time I think Devin Haney actually showed his frustration, right? Because Devin, in my opinion, has really been getting shut out, kicked down, put down, for this young man to hold his composure as long as he can hold it. Everyone is just putting him down, right? They're challenging his career. They're challenging who he fought. They're challenging him as a draw. They're challenging everything about him and saying it's negative. Even his own sanctioning body. They're saying he's coming into a champion. I get that he's 23, but listen, Devin Haney already has 20-something fights. And he is coming into a champion. When Teofimo Lopez only had 15, 16 at a time? Something like that, right? I'm saying Teofimo Lopez outside Lomachenko because Lomachenko is older, but he don't got that many fights as well. So he just really getting kicked down. He's really trying to make this fight with Camboso. And I think it's like he's probably thinking, man, if I don't get this shot right now, I don't know if I'm gonna be able to finish it. I think he went down again. If I don't get this shot right now, I'm never gonna get it. But let me hold on one second, guys. One more second for me. I'm sorry. I apologize. Oh man, you guys couldn't hear me? Man, I was cooking. Oh no. Oh, I was cooking. Now I remember when I said no value. I see it now. Ah. All right, man. Listen, this has definitely been a stream, man. I've been cooking. My old dog woke up from his nap right when I went live, and when he first wake up, he's like an old person. Like when you know how when you some of you guys, or maybe you got grandparents, maybe not you guys. When you first get up, it takes him. You still can't hear me? Can you hear me now? Lone Wolf. What's up, champ? Okay. Okay. Oh, is that my boy? I don't know if that's my boy or not. I know I got a homeboy who I play football with. He go by Wolf as well, but that might not be him. So here we go, guys. Let's jump into it. I was talking about Devin Haney, right? Let's see if I can get through this without getting up again. I don't know what my dog get. Oh, I see him over there. All right. So Devin Haney is fed up. He has been getting kicked on, stumped out. I mean, everyone has put Devin Haney down. His fighters put him down. They challenge who he fought. His mandatories don't really want to fight him. They want to challenge who he fought. To me, it's so crazy that when I hear Jojo Diaz was going to accept lesser money to fight Ryan Garcia than what was offered by Devin Haney, to me that was crazy. And then when Devin Haney offered money, and then he had to come back and pay even more money to finally get Jojo Diaz in the ring, and he won. But to me, it's kind of disrespectful. Not kind of, it is disrespectful. The treatment that Devin Haney is going through. People want to call him an email champion. Well, did he actually get a title through an email? No. Devin Haney got a title like a lot of fighters get titles. When someone move up and they vacate, or they, whatever reason, a lot of people fight for a vacated title. Mikey Garcia vacated the WBC title. Lomachenko fought for it and got it. No one called him an email champion. Devin Haney was in line to fight Lomachenko. Lomachenko, give me that Canelo special, right? WBC says, come right up. So they give him the Canelo special. Devin Haney fights for the now vacated title. They call him an email champion. Lomachenko got a Houdini, abracadabra, hocus pocus special, and literally just made something up. And nobody calls him an email champion or an abracadabra champion or a magician champion because he literally did not have to fight for it. They gave it to him. Who did Lomachenko fight for the franchise title that make him more powerful than Devin Haney? So, I just showed you guys how the fighters put Devin down. The other promotional companies put him down, and even his own sanctioning body put him down by calling him a pride champion. And Devin Haney is feeling that fans need to boycott boxing. Boy, you didn't tell me why. Devin Haney is feeling that if he don't get this Camboso fight right now, this is his shot at being undisputed. If he don't get it right now, he's probably not going to get it. Not in one fight like this. Because if Bob Arum wins and Lomachenko goes over there, and if Lomachenko beat Cambosos, it doesn't even matter. If Cambosos chooses Lomachenko, he probably never fight Devin Haney. Not with all the titles. Maybe after he loses, so I'm gonna lose him, but not with all the titles. If Cambosos chooses Lomachenko, if Lomachenko beats Cambosos, then that's when Cambosos will want to fight Devin Haney. So, with everything going against Devin Haney, even his own people, right? Peers, his own peers, fighters. Because fighters should not be okay with this. You know, this franchise title. Because whenever a franchise title is invented, you just stepped on whoever the WBC champion is or who is in line to get the title shot. You just crushed their whole dreams. Because from now on, if you are in the WBC rankings, you can never reach their highest goal. You can never say, "Oh, I'm gonna join the WBC rankings so I can be franchise champion." It's not like that. There is no connection. He said too many French fry titles. There's no connection. You got a better chance of being a franchise champion by not being in the WBC. Because if you're in the think about this, guys. Think about this. If you join the WBC rankings, you have a lesser chance of becoming a franchise champion than if you join another sanctioned body. Let me explain. Well, if you in a division that has a franchise title, that is a goal that you can't reach. It's like you can go right here, then there's a disconnect. You can work right here and all the way up and get a mandatory to fight right here. But you can never fight at the peak of the mountain. You'll never be at the top of the peak of the mountain unless somebody decides to fight you. But if you are on a sanctioning body and you work your way up to be their champion, the IBF, the WBO, you're going to get that shot. Because at some point, you're going to be mandated to fight the WBO champion. That way, when you get the WBO title, you can unify, or whoever got the franchise title will probably want to fight you. The only if other sanctioning bodies start adopting this, I think boxing gonna take a major hit. Because right now, I don't understand how the WBA was pretty much ordered to clear everything up. Right? Remember, WBA they got this guy fighting this guy, and this guy fighting this guy fighting this guy, and this guy fighting this guy because they're trying to eliminate some titles, right? While they're trying to eliminate titles, WBC is creating titles. They are treated like the special child. We can do it, but you can't. What if the IBF said, you know what? We want to have an IBF franchise champion. We want to have a WBA franchise champion. We want to have a WBO franchise champion. Man, you talking about, oh my gosh, you would never get... Man, listen, if you don't have a hype train behind you, you'll never get nowhere. Because Devin Haney don't have this hype train behind him, they don't even want him to have the title. When Mauricio Suleiman, and I'm gonna move on to the next topic, but when Mauricio Suleiman, when he was doing this interview and he wanted to bring up, he caught the interview before he left, like, hey, I want to say something else on the record. He says, so you know how Devin Haney says he don't like the franchise title, right? If he fight for Undisputed, he don't want it. Perfect. Whenever somebody say perfect, that means they didn't want you to have it. For an example, right? If you have a car and your brother like, well, I don't want to drive this car anyway. You like, well, I didn't want you to drive it anyway. Perfect. That means when somebody said perfect, it's like saying it worked out for both of us. Perfect. He don't have to. Listen, his own sanctioning body is telling him, like, listen, you don't want to fight for it, and we don't want to give it to you. Because if got choked up. Because if you apply for it and we turn you down, then we look a certain way. Because I haven't heard yet that anybody applying for it got turned down. I could be wrong, but I haven't heard anybody yet that applied for it or didn't apply for it got turned down. As far as I know, Canelo, Lopez, Cambosos, Estrada now has it. And if Devin Haney says, you know what? After I win all of them, I'm gonna apply for the WBC title. And if he don't get it, and then Mauricio come out and be like, no, 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 you said you didn't want it. So since you said you didn't want it, we're not gonna grant it to you. There'll be a lot of backlash on that one. But all right, guys, let's go on, man. Let's move to the future bout of the channel for my old doggy. Looks like he finally rested now. Wakes back up. Canelo Alvarez and Jamal Charlo. Looks like there's a chance again, right? Because Jamal Charla is coming out like saying, listen, I signed my port. And listen, I don't believe there is no bigger fight financially for Canelo Alvarez. Going up fighting light heavyweight and cruiserweight, to be honest, those fights might do something for his personal history stats. That might do something for him. But it won't sell like that. If you take Canelo and fight Boom Kumba, it doesn't matter. It's not going to sell like that. It's not going to do great pay-per-views. They're going to have to pay him $40 million, $40 to $50 million for Canelo to go up there and fight Kim Tum 2. And yes, it'll look good. He got another division, blah, 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 and all this. But the people that's putting it on is not going to get no money. Now, Jamal Charlo versus Canelo. That's a good one. That's a seller. Black versus Mexican? Oh my gosh. Can you imagine on Fight Night how this channel will be divided on who's going to win? And it won't be just strictly black people going for Charlo and Mexican going for Canelo, even though it will be a landslide of fair share of people going like that. But there's going to be some people that's, you know, like, going to, like, Mexican might go for Jamal, you know what I'm saying? Or black might go for Canelo. Now, me, I try to tell you who I think's going to win. Because I don't have, my boy, shout out to my boy American Pie Travis says, smash the like button. I hope it happens. I hope it happens as well. Please smash the like button. I need it. I need it. So, I don't have the deep history and bring it up 1956 and recall it, because I spend a lot of time learning the craft of the art. Now, I am really good at seeing how people land the shots, setting up. I coach boxing. I used to coach boxing, right? I used to be a fighter. So I see the inside of the ring. I see, you know, it doesn't always have to play out like I see it, because, hell, the fighters have to fight the fight, right? Sometimes they show up, sometimes they don't, sometimes we get surprised, right? We never really know, but I just see, like, you know, what's going on, how things got landed, angles, movements. I really specialize in that right there, and also specialize with throwing a log on the fire just to keep the blaze burning. When I look at Jamal Charla versus Canelo, a lot of people are going to disagree with me. But right now, if that happened right now, I hope it happens. I hope. It does not have the same hype that was once behind it. But I think it's the best fight that can be made right now for Canelo. Is fighting Jermall Charlo. You know, I think if I had to pick a favorite right now, I think I'll pick Canelo. I think I'm not saying he's going to go in there and Billy Joe Saunders or Caleb Plant Jamal Charlo, which, I mean, is capable of happening. I think it's going to be a good fight, but I think Canelo has shown me more levels, different weapons in his arsenal than Jamal Charlo. Now, what Jamal Charlo has, he has strong weapons in his arsenal. I just think Canelo has a little bit more. I compare Jamal Charlo to Triple G if I have to look at people that he already fought. Jamal Charlo, tight hands, good jab, good power, right? Jamal Charlo and Triple G, their offense is pretty close. Not the exact same, but if I have to judge offenses, they're pretty close. They're pretty close. Defense, I don't know. I don't know. And on chin, I haven't seen Jermall Charlo get tested. With that being said, looking at a not old Triple G, I think a not old Triple G has a superior chin. I mean, he took the shots that Canelo has been breaking eye sockets with, and Triple G got a chin. He's a cherry picker nowadays. He's really I think Triple G is cherry picking because he knows even when he is sparring, he knows he's getting older. Your boy T-Duck. When I was thinking about making a comeback, a long time ago, not now. Right now, the only thing I'm coming back to is the tables for seconds. But when I was thinking about making a comeback in boxing, and I was sparring, and I was still doing good, but I realized, I'm like, man, punches seem a lot faster now. I can't get out the way as I was. My legs feel heavier now. Because I used to, man, listen, I used to have really big arms, but I had crazy speed and power. That's why I hate just talking about it, because I really did have it. I was really a real skilled fighter. I wasn't a knockout artist, but I had really good power. Because I remember when I took 5 years off, and I made a comeback after 5 years. And they put me in a ring with this guy. He had like 14 or 15 MMA fights, and he had like 7 or 8 boxing matches, and he was undefeated. I think he had one loss in MMA, but he was undefeated in boxing and won the majority of his MMA fights. He was like 6 foot, maybe 5, something like that. And I remember, right, because they had us kind of. Let me say, my boy says, I would much rather see Canelo Andrade fight. Bye. I ain't mad at Charlo either. I hope that Charlo gets a chance. I think Andrade stands the best chance of probably beating Canelo. I think his being so unorthodox and that southpaw and the way he moves, I think he will frustrate Canelo, and he stands the best chance of outboxing Canelo. I don't think he knocks Canelo out, though. I think Andrade has good power, but I don't think he has the power. Listen, by me saying Triple G has a good chin, Canelo has a damn good chin, too. I mean, Canelo been hit by Triple G. Who else? What's the other southpaw that he fought that beat Cotto? God, I can't think of his name right now. But you guys know what I'm talking about. The black dude. He used to have like a little mohawk. Southpaw beat Cotto at 154. Took it. I was at 160. 154. No, 154. I think it took his belt. You guys know what I'm talking about. Like Canelo fought some pretty decent punchers, and he took all the shots. I mean, he took Triple G shots. Canelo got a damn good chin on him. Canelo versus Andrade, it's a matchup that we might not never see. Because if they offer Canelo Alvarez $40 million to fight Andrade for undisputed at 160, when Canelo had all the belts ever won, and he said no, I just don't see him fighting him. See, right now, Canelo has gotten so much freedom and so much support in boxing that it doesn't matter what promoter he works with. They're going to do what he wants. WBC sanctioning body, they're going to do what he wants. So when he tells Andrade, I'm never going to fight you, to be honest, I don't think there's nothing to force him. I don't think there's anything to force him outside of him just saying, you know what? I had to do it once and shut up Aries Lenny Laura. I got to do it again. I'm going to shut up this big, loud mouth, think he funny dude, and I'm going to knock him out. But I don't think it's going to happen. And but this right now, since Canelo has done business with the PBC, the other fight he want to fight, Don King said, "Whoa, not so fast. If you want to fight him, you got to talk to me." And the mandatory is not stepping aside. So what does he do? People say Canelo has options, and he does. He can fight Joe Smith and all those guys. But to be honest, no one wants to see it. Like, no one. And if you got to pay Canelo $40 million to fight Joe Smith, I mean, no one's asking for that. No one. This is the biggest fight right now that he can do. Jamal Charlo, Canelo. I think it's a good fight. I think it's the biggest fight for Cinco de Mayo weekend. Put this thing on May 7th. Put it in the bottle and let it rock. Who you got? Who you got? I gotta get an edge. Right now, I hope it happens. And listen, I'm hoping I'm wrong. But right now, I think Canelo can win this fight against Jermall Charlo. I think he's been having the tougher fights. I know it's crazy to say that, but I think Canelo, out of the two of late, between Jamal Charlo and Canelo has had more fights to sharpen in his tools than Jamal Charlo has. That's not even saying a whole lot about Canelo. It's saying that Jamal Charlo ain't really fought no real, competition. That's just what it is, man. Listen, he ain't fought no one to sharpen his tools. Canelo was out here fighting the slick boxers, and then he get those layups every now and then, and fight the Euro drums and the Rocky Fieldings. You know what I'm saying? But he's still mixing in the Billy Joe Saunders, the Caleb Plants, probably all the Liams. But like I said, man, I hope it go down. And then another fight, which I'll probably do a separate video on. I am now getting a little bit interested, into Kell Brook versus Amir Khan. And I'm going to do a separate video about this. But you know what would be crazy? For many people's eyes, we seen in our eyes Amir Khan been ducking Kell Brook for years. Kell Brook has been pushing for this fight for years. You know what would be crazy? Is that what if Amir Khan beats Kell Brook? Amir Khan had the nerves to question Kell Brook's chin, talking about he ain't got no chin no more. I bet you at that point, whoever was interviewing Amir Khan, they probably had to bite their lip or pinch themselves so they don't laugh. Right? You know how somebody say something and you want to laugh but you can't, so you bite your tongue. You do anything so you don't laugh about it. If Amir Khan questioning anybody's chin, as many times as we seen not Canelo, but Amir Khan get Shawn Michaels' sweet chin music and knocked out. Listen, man, what if he wins? If Amir Khan beat Kell Brook, you know how much he's gonna be talking. You know how much Amir Khan gonna be like, see, I told you guys I did him a favor by not fighting him. I knew this was gonna happen this many years ago, and now it's happening now. He's just jealous of me. Boy, that would be the worst ending for Kell Brook and the best ending for Amir Khan. But we gotta find out, man. American Press Travel said, I think that Canelo, Danny Jacobs was a harder fight for Canelo. That was a good fight. I wish Jacobs would have came on a little bit strong at the end, but Jacobs was using that stick early on. But the hardest fight for me, I think is I don't know. I think the Triple G's fights might be harder. I think with Canelo, from what I remember against Danny Jacobs, I know he had a little hard time trying to get the timing on Jacobs. You know how he comes in and me slipping those shots. I can't remember all the details, but I mean, I know it was somewhat of a close fight, but I thought Canelo pulled some later rounds. I thought Jacob should have just dug a little bit deeper. But all right, guys, let me get my butt back to work, man. I appreciate you guys for joining me. This is a Friday. A lot of times I don't do shows on Friday because Monday through Thursday seem to be better days for me. Friday seem to be a slack day, and you know how we do. We come in Saturday. I'm hoping to do a video Saturday, guys. I might have to see if I can get my girl to watch my puppy dog because he just been having a rough time. Been back and forth to the vet a lot, but he keep pushing. I'm gonna keep pushing for him, and I'm gonna keep pushing for you guys. Thank you. Subscribe, like, and share. It's T